Employees of McDonald's. What secrets did you discover while working there? Story 1. Former employee here. I found out that when making 5 gallons of sweet tea, an entire 4-pound bag of sugar goes in. Sandwiches with round egg use real cracked eggs. Folded and scrambled come from packaged goods in the fridge or freezer. I also had a manager that insisted more people purchase filet-o-fish when it's raining out because they subconsciously associate the watery weather with fish. Anyway, he did some research by pouring through sales of filet-o-fish for months and comparing it to weather data for each day. Turns out he found something like a 3% increase on rainy days, and was very pleased with himself. We now have a Discord. Check out the server in the link in the description. Story 2. For the one I worked at in high school, burgers are kept in a warming area for no more than 15 minutes, then thrown out and new ones are made. You get a free meal from anything except the salads. Meal is a sandwich, medium fries, and a medium drink. At the end of the night, all the cooked meat is thrown out. If you want to, you can use it to make burgers and take them home with you. Specific tools and grill section for cooking chicken versus beef to make sure they don't cross for those customers who don't eat beef. The Hindu co-workers were very vocal about this rule if you worked the grill. The safety stuff makes a lot of sense to me from McDonald's. They seem like a company who is very legally conscious. Story 3. My time wasn't bad. We kept it clean and no one I know ever tampered with the food. But there were a lot of funny things that happened, so I have a lot of stories. Example, one day we had 10 minutes to close. It was myself off at close, the grill closer, and the service closer, and the manager. Grill closer had on a headset, as he was praying that no one else came in as he was very low on a few things and didn't want to have to make more right before closing. The guy prided himself on having things done and being out of the door within 10 minutes of closing. Bosses loved him because other closers took up to an hour, and that meant paying them for up to an hour. One thing to know, our headsets had 2 buttons. One talked to the other headset only, the other talked to the outside speaker. He had been playing a game where he was trying to make the service worker laugh while she was taking the orders. You can probably see where this was going. So, a driver pulls up to the speaker and orders a 20-piece nugget. Closer is pissed and pushed the talk to the other headset button and goes, "Man, frick that stupid frickin' order, frick!" Except, of course, he hit the wrong button. Needless to say, someone got a free 20-piece and another meal free in the future, and grill members were banned from wearing headsets for a while after that. Story 4. Our supervisor brought in a bunch of gummies one night. She poured them all into quarter-pounder boxes and set them on top of the metal shelf above the condiments. My best friend and I were working the grill. Weeknights consisted of nothing but high school students. The supervisor was always someone in grade 12. Then you had one older assistant manager who sat in the office all night after supper rush. One girl was going on her break and ordered some food. My friend took a watermelon gummy and put it in the burger we were whipping up. He thought it was going to the coworker. I had a headset on and knew it was going to drive-thru. We watched the girl working drive-thru bag it and walk over to the window. The look on my friend's face as he froze, knowing he screwed up. Could you imagine biting into a greasy burger with the sweet and chewy goodness of a Maynard's watermelon? Story 5. Depending on which one you work at, the parking lot is basically a meetup for druggies and dealers. And at least where I was at in New Mexico, people to meet up and bang in their cars. As long as they kept their business to the middle of the night and didn't cause any serious problems, we were told not to call the cops or make a fuss. Mostly because they'd come in and buy food after their shenanigans. Soda and mini pies were really popular with the addicts. What I later found out is that management was actually told to let it slide by corporate, since everyone higher up was well aware how much money the night crowd brought in. I got to see many drug deals. I'm convinced I saw at least one arms deal, but I have no way of verifying that, of course. Story 6. I started working at Mickey D's when I was 15. The secret is that it's probably one of the cleanest restaurants in your city. The standardizations and routine practices leave little room for employees to think for themselves. It was a way cleaner restaurant than the $30 to $50 per person place I would work at later. Story 7. Worked in one from 2000 to 2005. 1. During this time, they changed the bacon. The new bacon isn't as good. 2. During this time, they changed the shake mix. The new shake mix isn't as good. 3. The shake machine works just fine, so long as someone remembers to fill it before it gets too empty and goes into the automatic 90-minute self-clean mode. It also takes a very long time to start up, so if someone forgets, there's no shakes for 30 minutes. This was never a problem for me whenever I did opening shift, because I would just kick off the coffee brewing for my team and then start up the shake machine for myself. 4. The chocolate chip cookies and McGriddles taste amazing if you eat them fresh out of the oven. Always made an extra half a tray for myself. And 5. If you're ordering a meal, say the size first. For example, large number 1 with a Coke. Everyone knows that ordering the meal is cheaper than getting the same sandwich, fries, and drink individually, but here's the secret. We have a button for the large number one and a different button for the medium number one, and then another menu for the drinks. So if you say I want a number one with a Coke, I can't hit any of the buttons until I know the sizes of the meal, as well as the size of the drink. Story 8. There is a glitch with the McDonald's app. There is a deals section, and it usually has a coupon for a free cookie or free apple pie with any order. Add it to your order and you get the free cookie. Then the next time you order from the app, just reorder your last meal. You can add or subtract whatever you want, but the free cookie will still be there. The glitch is that you can add another free cookie from the deal section, and now you have 2 free cookies. Evidently, there's no cap to this. I now get 5 free cookies with each order. I stopped at 5 because I felt that any more than that would just be overkill. To be honest, I already think that 5 is overkill, but OP, you do you, get those free cookies. I'm sure McDonald's of all companies will not miss them. Story 9. Sauces for sandwiches have the craziest dispensers. Ketchup and mustard are in these really rudimentary plastic funnel things that have a paddle in the handle. When you squeeze it, gravity pushes just the right amount of sauce through the holes. Doesn't seem like it would work well, but it does if you apply the proper amount of jiggling. The mac sauce, mayo, and tartar though, they're in basically caulk tubes that get loaded into what are basically caulk guns. You pull the trigger on the handle and a really satisfying ratchety clanking delivers a powerfully saucy surprise for the awaiting buns. Problem is, it takes a bit of finesse because if you hit the trigger too hard, you'll blow the bun and the wad of cream right through the condiment station and onto the wall 8 feet away. No joke, the first couple tartar splurts of a fresh tube came out so hot I'd fire a shot or 2 in the trash to avoid premature splatulation during the lunch rush. The first salvo, properly elevated and adjusted for wind, could clear the whole kitchen and take out the McInfantry on the cash register. This commenter definitely has a way with words. Premature splatulation? A powerfully saucy surprise? These all seem like things I could read in a really weird fan fiction, you know? Story 10. Anyone claiming the employees do disgusting stuff with the food is lying. The kitchens are not only open and completely visible to the customers, but also heavily monitored by camera. If anyone were messing with the food, you can bet they would be fired and escorted out before they even finished whatever deed they were committing. Look, it's fine to not like McDonald's. It's fine to think it's gross. It's fine if you just hate fast food. Logical, even. But making things up to disgust people is not okay. Source: former McDonald's corporate employee, worked in both corporate and franchised locations. Standards and practices are normalized and enforced in both. If you do notice things like the people in this topic are claiming, report it to management or report the location to McDonald's customer service. Story 11. Nothing much, honestly. I worked there for over a year. Everything is cleaned properly, no one messes with the food because there's always a manager nearby, the food is rather fresh, etc. While a lot of the stuff is frozen, that doesn't make it bad. Only thing is, the tea is very easy to screw up. It's easy to accidentally leave the spout open and to have tea covering the floor. Once we had a bag of coffee break and it got into the ice and into the tea, and we didn't realize right away, so some people got some coffee in their tea. When it comes to allergies though, everyone I worked with was very diligent. If someone had a bad allergy to like bread, we would remove our gloves, wash our hands and arms, put on new gloves and make sure that that item was okay. Given that was probably the case because we didn't want a lawsuit. Another secret is how much food McDonald's wastes. We had a bucket to toss the food in and managers had to count it at the end of the day. It was disgusting to see how much perfectly edible food was being thrown out. Luckily, if your manager was cool, you could ask to eat it in the back quickly. This was especially true with pies. Frankly, the company was fine. They offered to give you scholarships, pay for you to get your diploma if you didn't have one, always paid above minimum wage, though sometimes barely, and it was easy to get a promotion if you put in the work. That being said, I still hate corporations, and the franchise owners were jerks who ignored a bunch of stuff. Customers threw their food at me if something was wrong, example not enough salt, and I had minor burns from it. I was told I was a massive jerk and I should unalive myself, list goes on. Oh, also, you're not allowed to take tips. Story 12. The cups of ranch, like for nuggets, are different than the ranch that goes on wraps and sandwiches. I believe that kind is buttermilk. I think most McDonald's have discontinued the wraps though, sadly. Fun fact, I met the love of my life at McDonald's. We were both teenagers and closed together 5 nights a week. Him and I had the best work ethic because we both had worked at McDonald's for a few years. So we knew the closing procedures like the back of our hands. Every time I ordered a wrap, he'd make sure to grab a ranch cup and use that instead. Always told me it was made with extra love, you know, cute teenage stuff. Before we knew it, we got an apartment together. Months turned into years and we planned our lives together. We almost eloped. I couldn't picture myself with any other person and neither could he. Sadly, he passed away unexpectedly last year. I was heartbroken, obviously, but it forced me to take a good look at my life and change what I didn't like. Now, every time I think of McDonald's, I get flashbacks that take me back to such a blissful time. Such good memories. Definitely wasn't the greatest job, but knowing how to do the procedures in a smart way and working with fun people, who also work smarter, not harder, really made it one of my favorite jobs I've had. Okay, so OP got pretty off track from the topic, but we gotta give them a pass, right? Even if their spouse were still alive, it's just a cute story. Also, I just realized I said spouse. I don't think they were spouse. It didn't say that anywhere. I made that up. Story 13. I worked at McD in high school. This was the 90s. The store I worked at had incredibly high standards. I was taught proper customer service skills, how to de-escalate a situation, time management, cleaning skills, people skills, and so much more. I thrived there because I was lacking adult role models anywhere else in my life. My managers made sure I was caught up on my homework, helped me study, and made sure I was eating. Even though it was fast food, it was better than no food. I made some of the best friends I've ever had and am still friends with to this day. I can truthfully say working there saved my life in high school. McD's has a very thorough training program for managers. I was fast-tracked to management, and at 18 they put me through Hamburger University, the McD's training site in Illinois. That was quite an experience. I ended up leaving McD's at 19 to go be a young adult and try new jobs. I don't really have any trade secrets to share, really. I'll just say this. Don't knock the kids/people working fast food. Don't make fun of them, laugh at them, or make them feel bad. They are learning valuable skills that will serve them well later in life. They're doing what they can to earn money. They're serving you the junk food you want while learning how to grow up to be successful adults. Sure, not everyone fits this description, but more people do than you think. Yes, absolutely. All work is skilled work, and it's true, these fast food customer service jobs really do teach teenagers some really valuable skills. And come on, anyone who bashes people for doing a job are so stupid. Who do you want to be doing this then? But of course, that's never the answer. They just want someone to look down on. But yeah. Story 14. A. 10-to-1 burger patties. Every 10-to-1 is a tenth of a pound of beef. These go in most of these smaller burgers. A McDouble and a Big Mac have the same amount of beef to them. The difference between them is the Mac sauce instead of the ketchup and mustard, as well as the middle bun, sesame seeds, and lettuce. The difference between a double cheeseburger and a McDouble is one slice of cheese. B. McRibs are the messiest sandwich we had to make. In addition to cooking it, the McRibs stewed in their sauce in the Universal Heating Cabinet, UHC, until used. That required a special pair of tongs because it was pork, and cross-contamination applies to religious stuff as well. No matter how careful you were, you always made a mess. C. Burrito mix came pre-cooked and frozen. You wrapped a slice of cheese with the stuff and it was put in a queuing oven, which was a glorified microwave until hot. That's it. No real cooking done. Breakfast breads was the easiest back-end position during breakfast. Things just took time. McGriddle buns were baked, frozen, then thrown into the queuing oven to make them soft. Biscuits were queued, then baked. Bagels and muffins were toasted. McDonald's uses beef fat, if I recall correctly, for their fryers. When the oil was new, it was literally white until it got hot. A patch of sweet tea took 5 pounds of sugar for 5 gallons of tea. You can feel the cavities as you made it. Grilled chicken took the longest to cook and was kind of a pain. Some breasts could be in the UHC for hours before finally tossed. And that's all I got for now. Yes, I saw the comments about how I said bagels. Or I guess I said it bagels. I know my mistakes now. I'm so sorry, comments. Have mercy. Story 15. Get a cheaper burger dressed as a Mac to save money on buying a Big Mac. You can ask them to throw an apple pie into a McFlurry, so now you have a pie McFlurry. The big breakfast usually is made with scrambled eggs. You can ask them to be sunny side up as well. If the fries are yellow/brown, the oil hasn't been changed in a long time. If they come out white/very pale yellow, they're made in fresh oil. One pie is the same cost as 2 pies. Always buy 2, cause why not? You can ask for leaf lettuce instead of the shredded stuff. Sometimes it tastes better on certain sandwiches. And lastly, the eggs are real. McDonald's is the biggest buyer of chicken and eggs in the world. Tim Hortons eggs are made of powder. Story 16. Okay, point 1. Never get the breakfast menu after 10:30 or 11. We start the lunch menu then, so if you, for example, got a sausage egg muffin at noon, the muffin, sausage, and egg will have been sitting in the reheating cabinet for an hour and a half. We only toss the last breakfast items at 2. When when we fully stop serving breakfast items. Point 2. If you are even slightly unhappy with the way we made your food, come back in, please. Tell us about it. We made bonuses based off of how happy we made customers. If we meet those, even the grill crew makes a gift card or two. If you leave unhappy and don't let us try to fix it, as a store, we will never grow. Point 3. We aren't supposed to serve pies or cookies after a certain point after they're cooked. We do. No doubt about it. If your pie is slightly room temperature, and so is your cookie, you can always ask for freshly cooked on your bakery and dessert items. We might ask you to park your car for a few minutes, but they will come out fresh and hot and way better tasting. Point 4. If you ever pull up to a speaker and immediately demand to be talked to by shouting, "Hello?" we almost instantly frown and lose our smiles. This is not because we aren't happy to serve you, but it's because sometimes when the service crew who is taking your order is listening to the speaker, they're multitasking. They are refilling cups, lids, products. They are also following other orders, getting food out, getting rest for the next order. It's true that rarely we aren't listening, but we often are. It's just that service bodies often have to enter orders, talk to the car at the window, and talk to the car at the speaker while cashing out the car at the window, if not more. It's a multitasking job. We aren't ignoring you. We are trying not to overload ourselves. Please be patient. Point 5. Ever notice something wrong, something bad, something we can improve on? There's a link to a survey site on the receipts you get. Please use them, and if you received great service, name a crew member or anybody who you remember. If they get 5 or more shoutouts for good service, they get a bonus. If they get a bad review, they get pulled aside and talked to. Sometimes the talking to helps. I got a bad review because a customer noticed I was depressed. My GM pulled me aside, talked to me, helped me use my benefits for therapy, and I came into work happier than I had ever been. Seriously, let us know, it can change our lives. Point 6. At least at my location, the maintenance crew rocked. We had our ice cream machine, mocha, and smoothie machines cleaned nearly 3 times in one day because our GM was slightly unhappy. Please ask. Our ice cream machine might be fine for all you know. Point 7. We listen to almost any request. Want extra pickles? Done. Easy. Want pickles in a little container and with your order? Okay, sure. Want just the quarter pounder meat with lettuce and crispy pickles in a platter? Got it. Done and done. Do you want your deluxe bacon double quarter pounder cut in half? I mean, by God, it'll make a messy salad-like mound after, but sure, we will try our best. If we can't accommodate you reasonably, we will let you know and apologize for the inconvenience. This includes allergies, exclusions, extra items, special requests like cooked hot, no bun, or pickles and pickle juice in a plastic cup. The last one never heard. We would probably cringe and tell you no. Sorry, that one's just too gross. Point 8. On the topic of pickles, sometimes our prep crew doesn't drain them too well, and we other crew members are soaking our gloves in pickle juice just to grab a pickle or two. We are supposed to fix this, but when slammed with orders, kinda hard. This isn't really something to watch out for, but to know what happened if you taste a little too much pickle with your pickles. That's all I can think of for now. I've only worked here for 4 months, but I'm already area manager. Guess I made my GM happy.